go Joe Menzer, then we'll go to Bruce Martin, and then George Diaz.
Joe Menzer, NASCAR.com. Tony, this race seemed to have almost an epic feel to it from the beginning. Carl said it was like an unbelievable movie, the way it unfolded. Did you have any kind of feeling or sense of that in the seat of the car as the night was going on?
Gene says I got to watch the rerun, so
It's on at 1 a.m.
I'll be up. May not be able to focus on the screen, but I'll be up. It did. I mean, I don't know that it necessarily had that feel, but the storyline was pretty amazing. You got a guy that goes out and is leading the point standings, qualifies on the pole, and is dominating the first part of the race. The guy that's the underdog and the guy that's 3 points behind is having to jump hurdles and jump through hoops to, salvage their day. And then we come battle back. I mean, when we had that red flag at lap 109, I'm sitting out there and I'm just laughing with crew guys. I mean, there's crew guys going, "What are you doing? What's going on here?" And they're going, "Where are you coming from?" I'm like, "Where else am I going to go? I don't have anything else to do. If I crash this thing on the way to the front, so be it." And it wasn't that I was throwing caution to the wind. I mean, we were trying to be calculated and methodical about what we were doing, but the storylines are total opposites. I mean, you got a guy that's got the perfect race going. I mean, he's leading laps, and when he's not leading, he's second or third, and he's right where he wants to be in the position he needs to be in all day long at that point. And you got the other guy it's like, man, can we get there from here? You feel like you got the big fish on the hook, and you're running down a line. You're wondering if you're going to run out soon. But when you sit there, and when we took the lead the first time, I think it had to make him go, how did they, in the red flag, he's sitting there going, so what's going on with them? They've come back from the back twice and they're fifth now. He's thinking about that. And I sat there, I swear to God, I was sitting there, and Jack Roush and Doug Yates were sitting there talking, and I walked by Jack and I said, "You better tell your boy to get up on the wheel, because I'm on my way and I'm coming." And I was joking, I've screwed with everybody all week. Why am I going to stop now, So, and Jack looks at me like I got three heads all of a sudden, which I didn't know if it was because he couldn't see me or what was going on, but he kind of looked at me. I'm joking, come on. But Doug's sitting there laughing at me because he knows what I'm doing, and Jack looks at me kind of funny and went about my business and got back in the car, and I'm just laughing about it, and like, we still got nothing to lose, and we just keep slinging it at him. And when you take the lead, he got to be sitting here, he's sitting there going, how in the heck did they just do that? I mean, they've been tore up twice, coming to them back twice. How did they get there? So, storyline was pretty cool, I thought, up to that point.
We'll go Bruce, George, and then David Newton.
Bruce Martin, SportsIllustrated.com. This is a little bit of a provincial question in that this is big news back in your home state.
Hey, you got to use small words. I have no idea what kind of question that means.
It means back in your home state. This is really big news. You win another championship. When you were a kid coming up, everybody wanted to be the next A.J. Foyt. Now these guys in the grassroots level in that state want to grow up and be the next Tony Stewart.
They should set their standards much higher than that.
But just talk a little bit about bringing this title back to your home state.
I'm proud of where I came from. I mean, my career path made a pretty drastic turn, and I don't know how many people actually know. I mean, I had a chance to drive for AJ when the IRL started, and I had been working on a deal with Harry Ranier to join the Busch Series at the time, and was really close to having that done, and my intention was to do that. And then all of a sudden the opportunity came to drive for AJ in the IRL, and the IRL only had 5 races, so I'm like, I had every intention of doing both. I was used to running sprint cars, Silver Crown cars, midgets all on the same night, and I didn't see why I couldn't run 5 IndyCar races and run the limited schedule that Ranier's wanted. And AJ kind of put the kibosh to that. He wanted me to either be an IndyCar driver or be a NASCAR driver, and that was a pretty hard decision to make. And to tell your hero that you're going to turn down an opportunity to drive his race car to go do something else. But I had worked with the Ranier family long enough. I didn't want to let them down, and I didn't necessarily want to turn down that opportunity. And but I had to make a decision in my career of not knowing what was going to happen with the IRL and the stability of NASCAR at the time. And and you'd think it would be some big scientific reason, but the biggest factor that made me say, okay, I'm going to go the NASCAR route was I got to race 33 races a year versus 11, and didn't have to worry about what was going to happen. So, from where I grew up and my heritage and running home from school the 1st of May to watch practice, that was a big deal to me. But, I chose a different career path, and, we've had success with it, and I'm proud. I mean, we've had a pretty big shock this year in Indiana with the Colts of having Peyton Manning on the sideline, and trust me, I feel like I've been kicked by a mule because of it. But the guy beside me's had some pretty big Peyton Manning moments, and I take a lot of pride in the fact that we're going to be bringing a trophy back home.
What's it going to be like in Columbus?
Well, I already know that Bob Franke at the Dairy Queen's already been giving ice cream away tonight, and he will tell me to the penny exactly how much money he lost doing it. I mean, literally to the cent, he'll tell me how much money it cost him. But, I live in a town of 35,000 people, and I still got the same friends that I had growing up. And, when I go home, people let me just be me. They see me in a restaurant, and they'll come by and say hi. And, I've been back home long enough now. I think the news wore off, and I'm just another person. But, it's a sense of pride that when the people in your community come up and say they're proud of you and you did a good job, that means a lot. And I'm excited about the day I get to go home now.
Let's go over here to George Diaz, then we'll go David Newton, and then to Jerry Jordan. Go ahead, George.
Tony, to your left over here. George Diaz with the Orlando Sentinel. You obviously had a lot of fun poking Carl and whatnot this week, but
I don't poke Carl. I made that real clear. I like women, so I'll not be poking Carl. So.
Okay, I'll try to
Carl
rephrase.
A lot,
All right, I'll try to rephrase the question.
I just really, really want to make sure nobody gets the wrong idea about that. So.
That'll be an interesting transcript. But anyway, regardless, was there ever a moment where in your head, there was just a slight bit of doubt or nervousness or whatever it might be that kind of creeped into your head during this whole run leading up to it?
Oddly enough, I mean, there should have been a moment like that, and I can't. That's been the one thing that's probably been the one variable in the equation that I haven't been able to understand and get my hands around, is that there just never was that moment of feeling despair and like, can we really do this? It's like we were in the perfect scenario of coming into this weekend with no possible shot of losing anything. Contrary to what my favorite guy mentioned on media day, we honestly just did not. That we physically couldn't lose anything. There was nothing to lose, and there was everything to gain. And with that, it takes so much pressure off when you know that if anything happens, that you're not going to be any worse than second. And considering the fact that 10 weeks ago we were saying that we were wasting a spot in the chase to begin with, second wasn't so bad if that's what happened. But at the same time, I mean, you don't have to dangle the carrot in front of us to get our spurs jingling and get us excited about what we can get and what we can reach. So, but I mean, I meant what I said in media day, that it's a dangerous combination when you give a guy a shot at something and he can't lose anything. I mean, that's a potent situation to be in for our organization and our team and myself. So. With that, I honestly can't say that there was that moment where I felt that way. I guess it was the perfect scenario. I really wanted to leave Homestead. Honestly, I wanted to leave Homestead with the point lead. I thought that would really be the best opportunity to rattle his confidence. But in hindsight, we came here and there was never a moment where I was wound up. I mean, I was up at 2:30 in the morning this morning, couldn't sleep, and I was watching every stupid movie you can think of on TV because I was having fun. And and I couldn't explain it. I don't understand it, but that's where we were at with it. It felt natural. There was something that felt right with it, and I never had that moment where I felt like we couldn't do this or that something could go wrong. If it did, it did. But we had more to gain than we had to lose.
Let's go over here to David Newton and then
I
to
can't
Jerry.
shut up tonight either. I'm ready to get out of here. Somebody stop me.
Hey, Tony, David Newton, ESPN.com, way over here. Darian was talking earlier, and he he's been telling us for a while he's felt like the cars have been good most of the season. He mentioned the Atlanta race where you came from like 20th to 3rd, and we're talking about all the great changes they'd made, and they didn't tell you till afterwards there were no changes made at all. Has this turnaround
You
is
didn't
like
change anything? You liar.
has this turnaround has been as more about you maybe recapturing something you'd lost, a confidence more so than the cars and that?
I mean, I don't know. I've been deceived here by my crew chief. I had no idea that that's what was going on in Atlanta. But I don't know. I don't. I've been doing this a long time. I mean, I never felt like I really lost anything. I mean, when we won that World Outlaw race earlier in this year, and I know it has nothing to do. It's totally separate from anything that we're talking about here. But it was that crossed a big check mark off of my bucket list, and I think that was a really big moment for me, getting to accomplish a goal that I'd never accomplished before. And I think it reminded me that, I still can, it doesn't matter what we drive, I can still drive cars and win races. And I'm not just stuck doing it here and, not just able to win here and nowhere else. So, maybe it sparked something then, I don't know. But I never felt like anything really changed from that standpoint. I just, I had a lot of fun this year. I mean, Darian and Gene have let me go off racing any night I wanted to race, and I got to run 30 nights this year away from NASCAR races on dirt and had a blast doing it. And I think that was, as much as it scares Eddie Jarvis and Brett Fruit and our management of worrying about me getting hurt and how many people it can affect, Darian can tell you, I mean, when I would come back, it just was like, it energized me. It was like hitting a reset button, and it was fun. I had fun racing again this year, and I think it transferred to what we were doing with the Cup car too. That we'd have fun Saturday night and Sunday, even if it wasn't right or it didn't work out, I still had fun doing what I was doing again, and I think that made a big difference. So I don't know if I really thought about it a bunch, but maybe it did.
Let's go, Jerry.
Tony, Jerry Jordan with the Examiner, Kicking the Tires. You've talked before about the history of NASCAR, and tonight you've made that history. What do you want the history books to say about you and your season as you look forward for that?
They can write whatever they want. The biggest thing to me is we got the trophy, and I think the biggest thing is it's not about what they write about me, it's what they write about us. I mean, I really appreciate the opportunity that Gene and Joe Custer have given us, and I appreciate what Darian has done from day one. I mean, he played more than a crew chief role, and there were a lot of really good people that have had to work outside of the box of what their job description was to get us here, and I think that's what makes great teams great. Is people don't just sit there and look at their job as a 9-to-5 job or whatever their hours are, and they show up then and they leave when that hour gets there. And I know there's times when he's had to come in and stay late, and there's people that have made that sacrifice. And to the best of my knowledge, I don't think anybody's complained about it. We just got a bunch of racers, and I probably take the most pride in that. We got people that have come from so many different racing backgrounds, and their attitudes at the shop were just a bunch of racers that love racing and winning races, and I'm really proud of that.
Dave Rodman, you have a question? Raise your hand. Go, Dave, Jenna, Bob.
Yeah, Tony, Dave Rodman, NASCAR.com. The other day we talked about bookending Levi Jones' USAC championship with this one. Now that you've achieved it, what do you feel like it means to your organizations?
I'm pretty proud. I mean, Donnie Schatz won the last sprint car race of the season last night, an ASCS race at Tucson, and Levi won the championship in the last race of the year with our Chevy car. And to be able to come here tonight and do this, it's Levi won the Silver Crown Championship, the Sprint Car Championship. We ran second with Donnie Schatz and third with Steve Kinser World Outlaws, and then I don't know where Ryan officially ended up tonight points-wise, but
Who's that?
Ryan, 10th?
10th.
So
Yeah,
2 cars in the top 10 in the Sprint
excellent.
Cup Series. I'm pretty proud of that. It's probably as close to being a father as I'm going to get for a while, it appears, and I'm pretty proud of all my kids, even though one of them's 50 years old and still winning races. So I'm proud of our people. I mean, I feel like that I've said it from day one that I've been a part of this organization. I learned a lot from Joe Gibbs, and how he was able to assemble the right people to do the right jobs. I feel like I learned a very valuable lesson from him, and I think that I've been able to take that approach with every entity that we have, and we've been successful. And I'm proud of Chevy being on board, and Bass Pro Shops, and STP, and Armor All, and all the people that have believed in the programs that I've wanted to build and have helped us make them successful.
Let's go Jenna and then Bob Pockris.
Tony, why would you leave Joe Gibbs Racing when you did? You were comfortable there, you could win there, you didn't have to have any real responsibilities and take all this on. And what kind of pressure?
Joe would tell you different. He told me I had all kinds of responsibilities.
But what kind of pressure then do you take with you? Do you wonder, am I ever going to win again? You're leaving a really comfortable, nice place.
I think the variable that was kind of the little bit of the push over the top that I needed, it came from Rick Hendrick. And Rick had a relationship with Gene and the two teams working together in the past. And, when Rick called me and said, hey, this may be an opportunity for you, and where I was at in my life and my career, and, I guess I've never been scared to step outside my comfort zone with opportunities. I mean, we own 3 racetracks now. We have our World Outlaw teams, our USAC teams. I didn't really have a background in any of that. I don't have a background in business, but it just seemed like every challenge that we took, we were able to somewhat find some sort of success with it. And Rick talked to me on the phone one night, and he goes, "I'm not going to let this fail." And that's words that I've never forgot. And there's been times when I've had to call and say, hey, I don't know what to do. I'm kind of stuck. I need your input. I just need somebody to tell me if what I'm thinking is right, wrong, and different. And he's been really strong in that role with me. So, you got to have people you believe in. You got to have people you trust. And it's just another chapter in my life that it's like, this is a great opportunity for what's going on now and for what can happen down the road one day. I mean, there's a day that I'm not going to be driving, but I don't want to leave the sport. So, it's a great opportunity for me to drive till Gene fires me from the driver's seat, and then I get to sit on the pit box with him. So, I like that opportunity. It was an opportunity to have a fresh start, a fresh beginning, and a new challenge. And I love new challenges for some reason.
Bob?
Bob Pockris, Scene Daily. In that same vein, did you ever regret the decision to become a co-owner? And what do you feel this championship can do for your organization as a whole?
I'd be lying if I said there were a lot of nights I laid my head on a pillow and I said, "Have you lost your mind?" It was a lot easier being a driver, and there was a lot of responsibility that came with being a driver in a big organization. But there's a lot of worries. I mean, it's still a business. I mean, this is a big industry, and it's my goal from day one has been to be able to look Gene Haas in the eyes and shake his hand and say, hey, it didn't cost you a dime this year to go race, and I want you to come to the track and just have fun and enjoy what you've built. And our economy's been rough the last 3 years, and it's been a challenge to do that. But I'm proud with the new partners that we've had come on board. We're in the best financial situation our company's ever been in, and there's still inventory of races to be sold in our company, and hopefully an effort like what we've had in the Chase and a championship like this hopefully can be a push that some of these companies need to maybe come on board. So this is big for our company as an organization. It's a hard time with the economy, and definitely a championship like this is huge.
Anything else? We'll end it with Dwight.
Dwight Drum, RaceState.com. As far as you're being compared to the greatest drivers ever, like your hero and David Pearson, could you kind of share with us what you feel you have, physical and mental abilities that you share with the greatest people that ever got behind the wheel?
All you got to do is look at me, and it's not hard to figure out how I compare to A.J. Foyt and how that's following that same path. I'm not Mr. Olympia by any means. I'm proof that you can be a little bit out of shape, but you can be race fit, and you don't have to lift weights to do it. I'm pretty proud to sit there for people that aren't perfect and don't sit there in the gym and don't eat the right foods every day and can still go out and do what they do. Take some pride in that today, but I'm going to take a lot of pride in a lot of stuff. So, but you know, I'm nothing. Yeah, I represent you. So you guys, not just you, Jenna. Sorry, you guys. So, and some of you more than others, obviously. But I have a hard time putting it in perspective what it means with these guys and the greats of this sport and the legends of this sport. It's you feel like you're comparing apples to oranges because you're comparing different eras in our sport, and it's hard to put that in perspective, I think. But you know, I feel like I'm a part of a time in NASCAR when the competition's better than it's ever been. It's more competitive than it's ever been, and to be in a format that's very tight, very competitive, and you can't have anything go wrong, to win 5 races out of a 10-race chase, and to win the closest battle in NASCAR history, you know, no matter what the record books say at the end of the day, and the greats that are a part of it, it's a huge honor just to be in those record books with those guys. And you never feel like I don't care how many races you win, how many championships you win, you never feel like you measure up to the greats of the sport. But you know, that's what makes trying so much fun.
Well, Tony, you certainly put on one outstanding performance the past 10 weeks. You're the 2011 NASCAR Sprint Cup Series champion. Much deserved. Congratulations on truly a terrific performance here tonight that I think not only the folks in this room, but millions across the world are going to look back and say that this was one of the greats in all of sports. Congratulations. And I do have one final question for you.
Why do I feel like I should really be nervous? And I felt like I've skirted around I've played dodgeball for an hour up here, and I thought I was going to make it down here okay.
By winning this race tonight, Tony is going to take home a contender boat that is built right here in Homestead, Florida. And that boat is right out here in Victory Lane. It's got 400 horsepower. It's worth a lot of money. He's going to go out there in Victory Lane here in a minute and get some photographs with that boat. But my question is to you. Do you have any idea what you're going to name your boat?
I just hope I don't get so screwed up tonight that I find the keys on accident and try riding it around in the lake on the backstretch. So maybe we'll call it Hope We Don't Screw Up.
We can do that. Congratulations again, guys.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.